Hey y'all, so today I'm doing just a quick kind of reading vlog to talk about what I've been reading the past couple weeks in February. I finished A Little Life right at the very end of January, so I kind of started February with this like by a day, but I did finish it. I've got a review already up for it, so 5 stars, pretty thick. I love the paperback and how floppy it was. But yeah, great read. Go ahead and check out the review for it. I'll link it down below. So yeah, Little Life by Yana Gahara. It's a great one. So right after that one, I don't know if you've checked out my channel intro. If you haven't, I have like a TBR where I pull random books from a set of 10 and I read that next, and it's kind of random. So I was going to do that after A Little Life because technically A Little Life is what I first pulled. That was my first book that I unwrapped of that set of 10, but it was such a hard and difficult and sad read that I wanted something completely fantastical, and so because of that I didn't pull another random book. I just started The Final Empire. So I started that, and another goal of mine is for tomes like this and like A Little Life, I give myself 4 weeks to finish them. I don't have a lot of time. I do have a full-time job, so I don't have a lot of time to read a lot of books. But I've set this personal goal of mine to where if it's a tome, I read them in 4 weeks. If it's a novel, which would be less than 500 pages, then I read it in 2. So my goal was to read this in 4 weeks. I read it in 11 days. It was I couldn't put it down. It is the first book in the Mistborn trilogy. It is part of the Cosmere universe from Brandon Sanderson, and it is the second book that I've read by him. I have a review up of Elantris already on my channel at this point, I believe, so go check it out, and then I'll have a full review on The Final Empire soon as well. It was very good, very fast-paced, which is why I finished it so fast. Absolutely loved it, and I love these UK covers. They're so pretty. I love the UK versions. So yeah, after that, I decided I was going to go back to unwrapping the books in my TBR. So I pulled a random number, and it was like a 12-digit, really long random number that my husband and daughter had picked, and I unwrapped Pride and Prejudice. I can't tell you the disappointment that I felt when I unwrapped this, because it's the exact opposite of The Final Empire. I can tell you that. It's very realistic. Final Empire is epic fantasy. It's very flowery purple writing. The Final Empire is very straightforward and modern writing. This one's pretty short. It's fairly short, 300-something pages, 375, I think, something like that. So pretty short. I was going to give myself 2 weeks to read it. I DNF'd it. I didn't even get 20, I think I got to page 21, and I DNF'd it. And I'm going to be honest, I put this on my TBR because I don't read classics. I talked about this in my channel intro. In high school, we never were forced to read classics. We read a couple, but they weren't, they weren't like on this level, to be honest. And so I've never read them, and I really wanted to get more into classics. And so I thought Pride and Prejudice would be great. I've heard so many good things about it. I can't read it. I'm afraid it's gonna make me sound stupid. And I don't think of myself as a stupid person, but the writing style is just not what I'm used to, because I'm so used to reading general fiction or modern writing like The Final Empire, even like A Little Life. That was, even though it was kind of run-on sentences and stuff, it was still more modern. And this way of writing, it kept pulling me out of the story because it was just so jarring to me. Like the sentence, one of the sentences was like, one of the daughters said, how did she say it? Did not I tell you? Instead of just saying, didn't I tell you? And it's simple little things like that. Like, I understand what it's saying. I'm not saying that I'm too stupid to read it and that I don't understand what the author is saying, because I get the story. It's just when sentences like that are thrown in there, and it's all the time, they're just written in different cadences and ways of speaking that I'm just not used to, and it pulls me out of the story in a jarring way that I don't enjoy it. So I understand the story premise, and I can understand the writing. It's just I don't enjoy it. It's jarring and just not my thing. I may continue to try to read it. Like, I may pick it up and read some pages here and there when I'm bored between books or something, just to kind of slowly make my way through it. But I'm already doing that with House of Leaves. I'm still making my way through it. I think I'm on chapter 3 for it. So I DNF'd it. I feel terrible, but if I'm not enjoying it, I'm not going to read it. I think that's part of my reason why I quit reading all those years ago, is because I'd pick up a book like this and then I'd force myself to read it until I was done and didn't enjoy it, didn't want to read it, but sometimes I'm such a completionist that I started it, I got to finish it. And so then I just wouldn't pick up another book for a long time, and I'm done with that. I'm done with it. If I'm not enjoying it, then I'm not going to read it. I don't care if it's a classic. I don't care if a lot of other people love the story, and I'm sure it's a great story. I just can't get through it. I was in a book club. I was hoping that would kind of help keep me going with it. And one of the people that I've spoken to several times over different books in that Discord channel, she suggested that I listen to it on audio. And I think I may actually do that. Once I finish the Witcher books, I'm going to try it on audio, because I can push through audio a lot more than I can a physical book. And I'm used to listening to books of this, like the 13th Tale, from that era, I guess. So I'm kind of used to listening to that style audibly. So I'm going to give it a chance on audio. I'm not giving up on the book completely, but I am giving up on the physical book. So, there's that. I DNF'd it. So the next book, I decided I was just going to go ahead and pull another book, and unwrap the next one, and that was A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness, I believe. Yeah, Deborah Harkness. I don't have the sleeve anymore. I've had this book since it was released. I'm pretty sure it was released back in 2007. I bought it. That's why it's a hardback. Most of the time I don't buy hardbacks. Most of the time I buy paperback, just because hardbacks are pretty pricey. But I was so excited about this book when it came out that I bought it in hardback. Over the past 13 years, I've lost the paper jacket on it, which breaks my heart. I'm very upset, but I don't like to read them with the jacket on, so I'll take it off that way it doesn't get damaged. And I don't know if when we moved, I somehow lost it, or maybe it got damaged in the move, and so I threw it away, and I just don't remember. But I don't have the jacket anymore, so I just have the hardback. But I never finished it. I found a bookmark in it like 20 pages in, and I don't remember why I stopped reading it. Yeah, I don't remember why I stopped reading it, but I didn't think it was because I didn't like it. But then I just kept putting it off. I just kept reading other things ahead of it, and so I put it on this TBR list because I was like, by George, I'm gonna read this book now. So I'm about 15 pages into it. I just started it last night. I was kind of tired, so I didn't read too much in it, only 15 pages in. And yeah, it's fine so far. I don't have a lot to say about it because I am so, I'm just getting into it. But yeah, so far it's good. So far it's fine. And I'm hoping to finish, it's a tome, it's over 500 pages, but I don't want to take 4 weeks to finish it. I want to finish it in 2. I just don't know if I'll be able to. My reading speed kind of dropped pretty drastically with it, and I don't know, I mean, it's a pretty big book. It's large in and of itself, so I think it's just because the pages are bigger that it's taking me longer to read each page. But I use Bookly. I'm gonna put a link down below for Bookly. I love Bookly. It is a great app. I'm not being sponsored. I'm not getting paid. I bought the premium version for the year. It's like $30 for a year. I'll go ahead and put my link down below. That way, if you did want to get it, you can get a discount, so you benefit from it. I don't get anything, sorry for the mic, I don't get anything from you using that link. I don't get a discount on the next year. I've already bought it. So don't I'm not pushing it on you guys, but it's a benefit for you. You get the discount, and I've already got it. But I really enjoy it because you can time yourself, and you just hit start reading, and it starts counting the clock, and you just read. And then at the end, you can press stop. You put in what page number you got to in the book, and you can choose. You choose the book that you're reading, and so it kind of tells you how much further you have to go in the book, how long, like how many minutes per page did it take you to read it. If you were to continue reading at that pace, this is cool. If you're going to continue reading at that pace, how many more hours would it take you to finish the book? That's really cool. It gives you infographics. You can actually, like in the app, you can even put in quotes, you can put in thoughts, and you can put in words and put like what page number they're on and keep up with them with those in the app. I don't like to annotate in my books, so I used to keep like notes, but now I can just put them in Bookly, and it's saved with the book, and it's saved as thoughts, quotes, and words, which is weird because that's what I was doing on my own anyway. Love it. But the timing is what I enjoy because it tells you, like I said, how many minutes per page you're reading. So when I was going through and reading A Little Life, I was right at 2 minutes a page, which is about average. I'm not a fast reader at all. It's pretty average. When I was reading The Final Empire, however, I got down to like 1.5 minutes. I was zipping through that book. It was so fast. But last night, those 15 pages that I read, or 14 pages, however many, it took me 3 minutes a page. I was so surprised. What is wrong with me? 3 minutes a page? Because on average, even before The Final Empire, I was about 2 minutes per page. Every other book I've read, except for Elantris and The Final Empire, I think it's something to do with his writing, that I can get it down to about 1.5 minutes a page. But normally I'm at 2 minutes a page, and this was 3 minutes a page. So, and I don't want to get too obsessed with my numbers, but it is something that I'm conscious of. So I'm hoping that just because it's the beginning of the book, you're kind of learning the character and the setting and stuff. So I'm hoping I'll kind of pick up my speed as I go. But I definitely suggest that Bookly app. Like I said, I'll link it down below. It's not sponsored by any means. I don't get anything out of it, but if you're interested, you can use that link to get a discount and benefit yourself if it's something that you like. So let me know down in the comments if you're interested in the Bookly app. I'll answer any questions that I can. I can try to share some pictures. I guess I'd have to do that through Discord. Right now, in Knickknack's Corner Discord channel. I like hanging out over there with him. He's got his own channel. I'll link it down below as well. So come hang out with us, get to know us. I'd love to chat with you guys. Hey y'all, I am back for the last half of February for the wrap up. I have some weird news. I know that I had previously talked about DNFing Pride and Prejudice. However, I started A Discovery of Witches, and I DNF'd that too. It was weird kind of doing 2 back-to-back. I really hated that. I got about 180 pages into A Discovery of Witches, and I just felt like nothing was happening. I knew the premise of the story. I knew what the end goal is probably, like, what the main conflict was going to be. I don't know what the end goal is, to be honest, but I know what the main conflict is. And it just felt like nothing was happening. It had been in 181 pages, and I just felt like the author took a little bit too much time to go over the day-to-day life of our main character, Diana. Too much. Like, I like to get the main idea of how the character's life really is before our story starts, and I don't mind that, but I felt like it just droned on a bit too much. Too many repeated days. I don't know. I also have some other complaints about it. I didn't remember that this was a romance. I really don't know if you would consider it a romance. Because whenever I think of romance, I tend to think of erotica, where they have a lot of sex scenes, and I don't know if this book has that. I really don't. But it was kind of going into, you know, her relationship with, I don't even remember his name, with the vampire guy. And I just kind of got tired of it. I got tired of hearing about how great he is as a vampire, how he can smell all these amazing things and taste all these amazing things in the wine. It was a bit too much after a while. I just don't care. Everybody knows the main lore of vampires. I didn't need to spend 20 pages reading about how great he is with knowing ingredients of wine. I didn't. So I DNF'd it. I really tried. Like I said, that book has been sitting on my shelf since it came out. I think one time in a video I said 2007, but I meant 2011. So it's been sitting on my shelf for a long time, and I'm really disappointed that I didn't like it more. I talked to a couple of people in the Discord channel, and they said that someone did like the books. They actually, I didn't even know it was a trilogy, but apparently it's a trilogy, and that person said they really liked them, and I'm sure that they're fine. I just didn't want to get through them, but I just felt like there wasn't enough happening for me to keep going. So, went ahead and just DNF'd that. I also noticed that in a previous video, I had said that Elantris, that I had a Elantris review up, and that I've changed the order of when I'm posting things. So that's actually going to be the next video that I post in a few days. So just keep on the lookout for that. It is coming. It's just not up yet. So I apologize for saying that earlier. So after I DNF'd A Discovery of Witches, I unwrapped The Whisper Man. I had to think about it for a second. I unwrapped The Whisper Man by Alex North. I liked it. It was really solid. Only 355 pages. So pretty short. I actually had this on as hardback as well, funnily enough. But it was pretty short, but I felt like the author did a pretty good job of wrapping things up. I really like how the different details of the story came together. The reveal, well, I don't want to say the reveal. Who turned out to be the killer was, I don't want to say cliche, maybe a trope. It wasn't badly done. I still enjoyed it. It wasn't very original. What I really enjoyed most about this is just how little details came together. I don't read a lot of horror, really at all, so there's a few times where it actually kind of creeps me out a little bit, so it may seem kind of mild to some people, so I don't want to make it seem like it's super creepy or anything. Maybe I'm just not used to reading that kind of stuff. This is really only my second thriller lately that I've read. It's been a long time since I've read anything else, or read anything else of that type. So, but it was good. Solid read. I'm not sure what I'm going to rate it yet, and that kind of brings me into something else I wanted to talk about, was my rating system. I think I may actually be changing how I rate things. I think I'm too nice to books. I think I need to be a little meaner. Well, I don't want to say meaner. I think I need to be a little more critical. That's a better way to put it. More critical. Because I gave a couple books like 5 stars, when really I think 5 stars should be something that is something that I would definitely reread, or, that really changed how I think about things or how I feel about life in general. I feel like 5 stars should be more, 5 stars should be harder to obtain. That's just the gist of it. 4 stars should be something that really got me excited. I really just wanted to finish it and love the story. So 4 stars should still be really great and get me excited about reading it. Extremely glad that I read it, and then want to have other people read it too. And I think I'm gonna have a lot more 3 stars. So like with The Whisper Man, I think that's gonna be a 3 star. I enjoyed it. I think it's a good book. I just don't, I'm not gonna reread it. It didn't really change how I feel about things or how I think about things. I would definitely suggest people read it, especially if they like to read that type of book. But I still don't think it's up to like 4 or 5 star caliber. Even though I don't really think there was much technically wrong with it. I think it's technically proficient, and how I've been writing my books is where it would be considered a 5 star, kind of like The Chestnut Man. Previously, in a video that's gone up with this one, you know, I've rated it 5 stars, and I think I may need to dock it down to 4. You know, not that it's a, you know, it's just not as grand as, I think 5 stars should be a grand thing. I think the majority of books lie in the 3 star range. And so I think for me, I'm going to change that. I may do in a few weeks a rating system video. I don't really know, because I'm kind of doing it now. We'll see how I get there, but I think there's going to be a broader range of 3 stars. And I think 4 stars are going to be held more to like my more favorite books, where 5 stars are just going to be the higher to attain level. The 13th Tale, I think I would still consider that a 5 star, as just an example that I'm trying to pull off the top of my head, because it did change how I think about life. It helped me think about how lives and families, I go into that later in a review in a couple weeks, so I don't want to get into it too much now, but spoiler, it's a 5 star for me. But you know, it should just be more to be a 5 star. And I think it should be harder for a 1 star. I think 1 star should be just, this probably shouldn't have even been published kind of thing. So you're going to see a lot more 3 and 4 stars from me, which I think it's going to be more realistic, especially just given the way the market is. Like, I just feel like there's more 3 and 4 star books than there are 5 star books, and I think I'm just being a bit too, like, once I finish a book, if I'm like, oh yeah, that was really good, I enjoyed it, then I want to give it a 5 stars. If I don't have like any off the cuff complaints about it, but I think it needs to be a little harder to obtain a 5 star. So there we go. I don't think I'm gonna do a full review on this book, but I wanted to kind of talk about it because this wrap up is just about stuff that I've been reading this month. So, or for the month of February, it's now March, but I have been reading on audio. I also finished Sword of Destiny, and I started Blood of Elves, which is part of the Witcher series, if you didn't know. But I'm also listening to Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. Gillian Flynn? It should be Gillian Flynn, I think. I've been listening to that. It's a reread for me. I've already listened to it. This will be my 3rd time listening to it. But this time I'm reading it with my daughter. She is 14. So she's kind of getting into the more adult books. She's very intelligent for her age. So she's getting into the, you know, the more adult books. She's still reading, you know, young adult, things like that. Even some middle grade, because she just loves fantasy. So, but we're listening to Gone Girl together, and I'm going to put up a quick spoiler thing, because if you haven't read it yet, I'm going to tell you a few little spoilers for just a couple minutes. This is her first experience with an unreliable narrator, and it was so amusing to sit there, because we only listen to it. It takes us forever to read or to listen to audios, because we're hardly ever just the 2 of us in the car. Usually my husband is with us, and he just doesn't want to reread the book. He's already read it too. So we just kind of listen to it when it's just the 2 of us in the car. And it has been so amusing to sit there and watch her try to figure out what's going on. And she's like, Nick is crazy. Nick is delusional. Nick is lying. And then when we got to the part where you learn about Amy and Diary Amy comes out, and like you just realize like that this whole narration has been a lie. Her world, it was upside down. She was so I don't want to say confused. She was definitely shocked and surprised. I said this is her first foray into an unreliable narrator story, and it was very amusing for me. I sat there and waited 4 hours for us to get to that part because I just thought it would be hilarious, and it was. So she's we still got several hours to go in that book. She's really enjoying it, and I'm just enjoying her experience a book like that for the first time. So that's been really fun. I guess to kind of wrap up, in the beginning part, I really talked about the app Bookly. I talked about it a lot. It's because I really enjoy it and I really like it, and I think a lot of other people would like it too. But I did forget to mention, because I know I talked about the premium, and you know that I'm going to link my discount link down below for you if you want to get it premium. There is a free version of the app. Because I bought it within 15 minutes of trying it, I don't really remember what the difference between the free and the premium was, so I apologize. But when you go there, you know, just check it out and then see the differences. They've got it, you know, right there in the app. It kind of talks about the differences. I know one of the differences is that for free you can only have, I think it was 10 books, and then for the premium you can have unlimited number of books stored. And then I think like it'll store for the premium price, it'll store your reading stats across the entire use of the app, rather than just by book, I think. Don't quote me on that, I could be wrong, but I think that was one of the things. So yeah, even if you don't want to pay the $30 a year, there is a free version. So don't feel like you can't check it out just because you don't want to pay that, because I completely understand not wanting to pay that. I kind of can't believe I did. It was definitely an impulse buy for me, but I haven't regretted it. I do enjoy it, but there is a free version, so don't be afraid to check it out. There is a free version. So I'll go ahead and wrap this up. I am reading, well, I'll talk about March in March. You'll get there. But yeah, February has been great for me. I've got a lot done, a lot accomplished, even though I DNF'd 2 books. So, I mean, and I haven't DNF'd a book in a long time. It was pretty crazy. So, and especially to have 2 back to back, I was kind of worried about it, but I'm glad that I pulled The Whisper Man last, because I was able to crank that out, and because I only had a week left to read the book for like March. I go by weeks, but you know, February ended on Saturday, so I only had a week left, and I was able to get that book done in a week. It was no problem. I'm reading a lot faster than I thought I would. I talked about my reading speed with Bookly in the last section, and my reading speed with The Discovery of Witches did pick up. It got closer to the 2-minute 2.2 range, so I think I just got a little bit used to it. But with The Whisper Man, I got down to 1.2. But I mean, its margins are pretty big. It's got pretty big writing. There's a lot of chapters, so there were a lot of, you know, big page breaks at the beginning, you know, whereas a chapter heading or the page before would have some space, you know, to finish up the chapter. So it was a really fast read. If you're looking for something quick and good, I'd pick up The Whisper Man. All in all, a good month of February. My favorite book of February would definitely still be The Final Empire, which is not a surprise, but The Whisper Man was really good too. So, yeah, we'll just go ahead and wrap this up, and I'll see y'all again soon. Y'all take care.